then. Can anyone tell me, please, is my voice and screen clear?
Yes, Dr. Clear.
Okay. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today is very important topic because almost all the websites in the world, they provide this kind of feature, and these attacks can work with them. There may be variations when we launch the attack. So depending upon how the website is implemented, there may be variation in launching your attack. So considering how the website is implemented, you can use different techniques which you will learn inshallah. But also you can modify a little bit using your understanding according to the situation. Okay, so inshallah we'll cover many approaches today inshallah. Broken authentication. So means breaking the authentication. So we know that in a typical web application, authentication is done using username and password, which means application verifies that the user is the person which it claims to be. So it is the right person. So how they verify? They verify username is correct and password is correct. And then they allow you to log in. They say successful login, and then you are authorized to do the functionality according to your access policy. So according to the website access policy, what level of privilege they want to give you, depending upon the user type, they give the privilege to the user after successful login. However, there are many vulnerabilities in the authentication mechanism which are being used nowadays. And if attacker can successfully exploit a single vulnerability, then that person can gain access to the application as a whole. So inshallah, today we shall discuss many techniques to exploit the authentication. Inshallah, you will learn today. So we know that in the world, in the university, in the world, in web applications, there are many techniques used for, and most of the applications, they use this HTML forms-based authentication, where they show you username and password, and you enter those required fields and submit to be verified. Submit to verify your username and password. Sometimes they combine the username and passwords with physical tokens like one-time passwords. So this lecture will only focus on this HTML based. However, there are more techniques as well, like SSL certificates, smart cards, HTTP basic and digest authentication, Windows integrated authentication, other authentication services. So if anyone interested, I will give you the link so that you can study more attacks depending on your interest. Okay. So we will focus on this and cover all the aspects of this HTML form-based authentication for a basic process. So as we know, 90% of the web application in the world is an estimate. They use HTML forms-based authentication. So they ask the user, please send username and password. And when the user send it, they verify it. And in multi-stage authentication, multi-stage means multiple process, multiple stages. The form is submitted. If username and password is correct, then they send you one-time password or PIN. And they ask you to provide that, then it is verified. Or sometimes even now, many mobile applications, they are asking you to verify your fingerprint. First you enter your username, password. If that is correct, then they ask you to verify your fingerprint, and then they allow you to log into the web app or to the mobile app. So we know that applications can use many different technologies to log in to verify their identity. So what is attack authentication? It means we break the process of authentication. So there are many different approaches which we can use to launch the attacks. So inshallah, today we learn many attacks. So one is bad or weak passwords. So this is the problem with many of the web users, that they don't select correct strength of password. They don't select long passwords and including all different possible kind of characters, integers, special symbols. So that's the reason that they can be easily guessed. They can be guessed. And this is due to also the reason that many of the web applications in the world, they don't put any restriction on what password you choose, or even no minimal control on the quality of the user password. Even some websites, if you try to select blank white spaces or very short password like ABC or 1234, so they will allow you to choose that password without any restriction. So it is observed that even some websites, they allow, for example, blank passwords like very short or even blank, or common dictionary words like your names. And many of the websites, even if they don't allow blank, still they allow you the names. So you can choose your password as your name. Or the password can be same as username. So you see many people try to use the same username password so that they can easily remember it. And if they do that, many websites, they don't check. They just check maybe if the minimum characters are okay, they say, okay, fine. Or even many people, they can leave it to default passwords. That if website generates some password for you, for the user, they keep the same default password and don't change it anytime. So these are some of the reasons that's why the password can be broken. The passwords can be hacked. So for example, if application does not enforce strong password, it is highly likely that a large number of users will contain the weak passwords. So to do that, to guess the passwords, we can use different approaches. Okay. And to practice this attack, we need to create our own account. So for any application which we are going to use, if we don't know the existing users which we can hack for practice, so then we have to create our own password. What thing can be here when we want to guess the password? When we want to guess the password, we need to know the rules for password quality. We need to know the rules for password quality. So for example, have you seen any bags? If I show you, if you can see these bags, usually if you can see students now, these kind of bags, it is very common, right? So can you guess what is the most common password in these kind of bags? Can you guess?
Usually 000.
Yes, all zeros are one. It's very common. Just 1 second, students, just 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, students, sorry, it was just a call. Okay, so we have to see that we guess the password. As we know, many of us, they even have the, like if we guess our passwords for our friends, so usually it can be what? It can be their names, their mother names, or their country name. So these kind of passwords are very common. These are very common passwords which we use in our daily life. So that's why when we detect the passwords, also you can take help from the dictionary. I tell you a list of most common passwords. If you search, you can see there are some most common passwords, or even the people, the hackers, they have created their dictionaries. See, they are saying 10,000 most common passwords, or they are listing maybe more passwords. So this is one way that you can try these passwords. So you can get the list of the most common passwords from the people with their different experiences, and you can use those passwords to try to your website. You can try to use with your website. So then in this way you can hack their websites. I will tell you in a minute. Of passwords are there. I will tell you, inshallah, don't worry. Okay, so what we can do when we try to guess the passwords, so sometimes first we try the same username, the same name of the person, the name of their university, name of their father, name of their mother, if we know them, the name of the company, or just the word password. If you see, for example, you can see just the number password is very common. Or password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 7 8 9. So these kind of passwords are which are used most commonly. So first we can take these passwords and try to log into website with these passwords. If successful, then it means we have successfully cracked the password. If we are not successful, then we try more. Okay, if I, for example, show you how to use these passwords. So usually when you select a password, you get these kind of restrictions. You get these kind of restrictions which require you to choose the password. So they can say, for example, minimum password length, for example, 18 characters. There should be at least one uppercase, one lowercase, one number, and one symbol. So these are some of the requirements which are called the password policy. And for example, if I tell you, for example, password policy is 5 spaces. For example, 5 spaces. Okay, I give you the example. I give you 5 spaces for 5 characters. Okay, if I say, for example, first character should be English character. Okay, first character should be English character. Then 2 characters, 2 consistent with 2 characters cannot be placed same, or 1 integer, at least 1 special character, etc. So if you know, for example, this kind of policy, you can see here, first character here must be English character, So possibly it can be A to Z. For example, the second character, it can be any of them. So it can be A to Z, or it can be 1 to 0 to 9, or it can be, for example, special character. So any special character. Okay. So same, it will apply this formula. This expression can be applied to all the places, So this is usually how you can find out that how you need to try the password. I'll give you more example in a minute, but did you understand this thing, that how you can guess that depending upon the policy means how you can think that what kind of possible symbols can be in a character? Up to here, clear?
Yes, doctor, clear.
Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Now I tell you, so this is how you need to see the policy, and then you need to guess the passwords. I will tell you how to do it, because there can be hundreds or 10,000 for the most common password. So basically, if you sit and try 10,000 passwords, it will take many hours or even days, which is waste. And in this way, you cannot hack the password. So inshallah, in a minute, I will tell you how you can use the tools to launch these attacks. But first, I want to clarify your concept. So this is called guessing the password, that you try some random passwords, and if something match, then it means you are successful. You have launched the attack successfully. Okay, but this does not work all the times. So then we have to go with another approach, which is called brute force. I tell you in a minute. Okay. If I want to try, for example, you forgot the combination of this lot. If you forgot the combination of this lot, so then how can I find out the combination so that I can successfully open the bag? Can anyone please tell? If I forgot, then what can I do?
Maybe I will try all the possible numbers.
Good. You will try all the possible words. So you will say 000, then 001 here, then 002 here, then 003 up to 9. Then you will change it to 1. Then 010, 011, 012, 013 up to 9. Then you will change it to 2. Then all combinations. So in this way, whatever possible combinations are there, you will try. When you try all the possible combinations, this is called brute force attack. This is called brute force attack. Brute force attack. So you try all the possible combinations. So if we see there are 3 spaces, and how many spaces characters can come in one place? How many characters can come in one place? 0 to 9. How many characters? 0 to 9. In the bag, there are 3 spaces. So every space has 0 to 9. How many characters? 0 to 9? 10, right? So 10 possible characters here, 10 possible characters here, and 10 possible characters here. We can use any combination of them. Hello, students, can you hear me?
Yes, doctor, we hear you.
Okay, screen is clear?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know what happened. Suddenly it's shut down. Okay, so you can see there are 3, this bag lot 3. So possible are 10. So it means how many possible approaches, how many possible combinations I can try? 10 multiply 10 multiply 10. So what will be the answer? 1000, right? I can try 1000 maximum. Here maximum 1000 possibilities which I can try to unlock this bag, right? Understand or not? Clear these combinations?
Yes,
Clear?
doctor. Clear.
Yes. So this is the possibilities you calculate, the permutations. If you have studied the statistics, so it is called permutations. So in the permutations, we can get the permutations. So most possible combinations. So it is 10 multiply 10 multiply 10, which is equal to 1000 combinations. So this is called brute force. I hope now it is clear what is brute force. Inshallah, now I will tell you how to launch these attacks. Okay. So when we are launching the guess password attack, so what we do, first of all, we need to review the website for description of the rules. Why we review this? Because it can help us to design our possible attacks, possible combinations of attacks. Because due to the rules, many of the possibilities will be just already ruled out. They will be ruled out. So for example, if in our discussion here, these are the restrictions. And if we type all password A, B, it is already wasted, because we know there is no chance that A, B can be the password, because the policy is here. You understand, students?
Yes, because there is also one condition. There is no repeat the same.
Yes,
So,
no repeat the same, and also one English, one integer, one special character. And if we are just trying which are out of the scope of this thing, it means we are wasting, right? So that's why it is the reason that we need to review the policy, so that we can create the rules for generating the possible passwords. So inshallah, this is same like programming. I will also explain you inshallah how to do it. But let's first try the simple ones. So if it is possible to register, if the website provides you free account or facility to create a testing account, so then do it. Create your account with a dummy password or with a dummy username. Don't put your own name, because you are hacker. But obviously that is, you are not bad hacker. You will be doing with the permission. So it is also okay if you try with your original name. But main option is, your main target is to observe the rules. So when you try to create the password, then you can observe that whether the rules are allowing or in place or not. They are just put it and there is no check and balance, or there is a check and balance according to the rules. So if, for example, you control a single account and password change is possible, then you need to try to also change the password to various weak values. So for example, to launch the attack successfully, you can set up your own account and change it to different kind of passwords, various weak passwords, so you can launch the attack. So inshallah, in a minute, we will do the practical and I shall tell you how to launch this guessing the password. But before that, after that, I tell you other approach, because guessing the password, it may work, it may not work. So when we are guessing the password, they may have chosen the weak passwords, or even if we cannot find from the internet some of the weak password, there is another attack which is called dictionary attack. So we can try the dictionary attack, as we have created the dictionary like 000, 001, 002, 003. This is also dictionary. So similarly, we can create the words with all the possible combinations and start trying. This is also called guessing. Okay. So some applications, they can allow the user to try different username and passwords without restrictions. They don't restrict you that how many attempts you can do, how many login attempts you can do to check your username and password. But in other case, some of the websites, they restrict you that only you can launch 5 attempts. You can only launch 5 attempts. And if you Failed 5 attempts, what they do, they block your account. They block your account. So in that situation, then what you will do? If they block your account, then what you will do? So these are some of the possible cases which we need to try, okay? So let's first do the practical. Then inshallah, these are the steps because many students require to write the steps. So I have written the steps which you can do, but inshallah, when we'll do practical, it will make it very clear to you. But inshallah, then we'll go through the steps as well, okay? So let's do it. Let's do it. So please start all your tools. Start XAMPP, start Apache and MySQL in that so that they are running successfully. Also start the Burp Suite. Start the Burp Suite. And then start your Firefox. Make sure whatever settings you have put in the Firefox, they are same in your Burp Suite and your Burp proxy is running. Your Burp proxy should be running and you should have the same settings in your Burp Suite and Firefox. So we need to make sure that proxy is running and it is listening on the same port which I have configured. I have configured 8081. So I will also make sure intercept check is on client request, delete all the criterias. Also response check and delete all the criterias. And proxy intercept is working. And I go to my DVW website. And you can see it is intercepting the request. You can see its request header here. So I wake it off and let the website work. So here I log in successfully. And because the vulnerable application they have created for us like this brute force where we can check our combinations. So now here is first thing when you want to check any website. So you need to first understand the behavior. If you remember, the first step is reconnaissance and analysis. So in analysis, you can try, for example, first situation is you know the username. You know the username which you want to hack. First of all, tell me, have you started all the tools started successfully, students? Your tools are started successfully so that I explain the working. Students, are your tools started?
Yes,
Hello?
doctor, we start.
Yes, doctor.
Yes.
Okay. First situation is you know the username, admin, and you need to guess the password. So for example, I try here round password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I say, what is the behavior? I want to see what is the behavior. So it is given me, it is username password incorrect. And because we have tried many times, bad password. So my account is logged in, a block, and I need to try after 15 minutes. So you can see this is common behavior which we can find on many websites, that they can block my account if we found many number of attempts. Now, if this is the situation, then we can try one thing more, because it is your dummy account. You have created your account yourself. So you know the password, So now I enter the correct password. I enter the correct password and then see whether it still keep me out because my account is logged, or does it allow me to log in successfully. Let's try. So you see, because I have logged in with the correct password, so it has allowed me to the login successfully, even my account was blocked. So it means the website is not implementing correctly the locking mechanism, the locking mechanism. And also you can check the behavior. For example, now this website has allowed you to log in successfully. Now I try wrong password and then see what happens. Does it count it as just one more weak attempt, or it keep the same previous counting? So let's try. Again, it is keeping the locking account mechanism correctly, but if I enter correct password, then it allows us. So this means there is only mechanism problem in the login, that if you provide the correct password, then it allows you. Otherwise, locking is maintained. Okay, now we know the behavior of the website. If you are, for example, ethical hacker, so then you can get access to the code. You can get access to the code because you are ethical hacker, company can give you the code. So same is here. You can see the code, how they have implemented. This is one thing you can do. Or if you are, for example, hacking and company does not allow you to see the code, they only want to try the same conditions, which is for bad hacker. So then there are different possibilities. Okay, so let's try to hack this username and password with known user admin, and we don't know the password, but we know the username admin. And also we think that the website, because it is not implementing locking mechanism correctly, so if there will be successful password entered, the website will allow you to successfully log into the application. Okay, so now what we can do, I tell you. Go to your Burp Suite, make intercept on, make your proxy intercept on, come to your website, and here enter username admin and try a round password 1 2 3 4 5 and click login. When you click login, you can see it is control has come to Burp Suite. So if you go there, you can see the request header. It is going post method, and one thing is your username and password is clear because there is no encryption they have used. But this is most of the websites nowadays, they do encryption. They use HTTPS. If the website is not using HTTPS, then you can see username and password will be already available just in your Burp proxy. But that is not most of the website. They provide encryption, so it will be encrypted. This will be encrypted. Okay, so we have got it here. Now we need to launch attack on this possible request. So what we do, as we have captured here, we right click here and say send to intruder. You see here option, send to intruder. Send it to intruder. When I click send to intruder, you can see now it is highlighted here, send to intruder, and you can see now all the details are here with me. So what I do, I make intercept proxy off so that website works normally. And now I will use the intruder to launch the attacks. So as I have told you that password guessing, you can have many passwords. You can have hundreds of thousands of passwords you can try. And obviously, if you try with manual attacking, it will take a lot of time. So then it means you have to find a way where you can launch it automatically. So this is same like programming. In your program, for example, what you do, if you are doing a programming, so you write a function, Java method to crack password. For example, what you do, you write a Java method to crack a password. For example, you write a Java method, or I say Java method. If I write a function Java like this function, so what I can do, I can create a loop. I can create a loop and say run this function 1000 times, or for I equal to 0 to I equal to 10,000, execute this function, right? Have you done this kind of programming, students? You know the loops, you know how to run the functions multiple times?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so similarly, we need to create a program here in Burp Suite so that it can launch the attack successfully. You can see here, when we call a function, we can pass the parameters. These are called the parameters. Whatever is required by the function, we send those values so that function can be executed. So same kind of programming we can do in Burp Suite. But obviously it's very easy. Burp Suite is just a tool. The program is created automatically for you. You just need to specify what are the things here. So you can specify here localhost port 80 on where your server is running, port 80. You can use HTTPS if your website is using HTTPS, but we know this website is not using HTTPS. We can find it out here. Because if it is using HTTPS, there will be lot here, lot symbol here. And also it will be, you can see here it is written HTTP. So it is HTTP. If it is HTTPS, so you can select, yes, use HTTPS. Okay. So this is how you can do it. Now, first of all, whenever you send a request to the server, will this header be same or different? What do you think? When you send a request for username and password from this website, will this request header different or same?
Different.
How? What things will be different?
I think the field of username and password and
Good.
the last line.
Yes. Usually when you create username and password, so when you send a request to the server, it is always same header. But if there is some value changing like username and password, because in our attack, these values will be changing. So then it means these are two of our variables. These are two of our variables which will be changing. Everything will be same. So first of all, when you send it to intruder, it has automatically detected that what are the inputs going to the server. So they have created the variables for us, but we clear them. So first step is you clear it. So now it is the exactly raw username, raw header, which is going to the server. So it means whenever we create, it is now a function. So you can see like this, it is a function now. It is a function which we want to execute as many times as we want. We want to launch this tool as many times as we want, and we provide this input, username and password, and execute this function as many times we want. So this is our function. Now, every time we want to launch a possible attack, we will update username and password, and rest of the header will be same because we have captured the same header from the original website which we want to attack. So what you need to do, there are different scenarios. First scenario is we know the username, which is admin. So it means we don't change the admin username. We only want to change the password. So I select my password, and you can see here is the add symbol, add $sign. So I click here. So you can see now before and after the value, it has created $symbol. So this shows that now this is a Burp Suite variable. This shows that this is a Burp Suite variable which we can use to launch the attack. So we need to first create the variable, whichever value we want to change, we create the variable for that. The user token remains same for one session, so we don't change this user token. If we need to change it, we will also create the variable. Or if we need to change the username, then we will create username variable as well. Okay. First of all, if I observed here, the STOT is impossible. It means this attack will not work. So make sure that you go to your DVWA, change your DVWA STOT to low, because it's a basic understanding class. So we set to low, and you can verify here. Username admin low disable. PHP session ID disable, and STOT level is low. So what we can do, now we capture again, because that was for, either you can change just here low, but to be more sure, if you want to be more sure, so make your proxy intercept on and change to low and enter a wrong password here and generate the request. When you generate the request, it will come here. So do the same process. Click, right click and send to intruder. Send to intruder and make intercept off. Now everything is here in the intruder. So we do the same things now. You can see when we set to low, they have started using the get. Instead of post, they have started using the get. So it remains same, whether we use low, whether we use medium. So when you try your own practice for your website, so in this way you can set the difficulty level to different, low, medium, high. It's not difficult. It's not difficult to launch the attack. So you can set up different combinations and try. So let's first complete one simple step. So create the variable for password. Now there are different types of attack. Here is, you can see it's attack type. Here is attack type. So you can see different combinations. This sniper, this battering ram, pitchfork, cluster bomb, these are different types of attack, which you can see. They have different mechanism. They have different algorithms to launch the attack. So sniper means focused, that if you have only one variable, if you want to launch attack on one variable, then you can use the sniper. But most frequently used attack is the cluster bomb. You can use cluster bomb with one variable, with two variables, with more variables. I tell you how it works. So let's select the cluster bomb, attack type cluster bomb, create a variable here. Everyone finish this step, select cluster bomb and selected the password and created the variable. Yes, students, all students are with me. Have you done this step? Students? Can you hear me, students? Students?
Yes, doctor.
Are you here? All students here or not?
Yes,
Doctor.
we are here, but because we are working different two page, so.
Okay, so have you finished to this step or you are behind? Have you created the variable and selected the cluster bomb?
No, doctor, we are behind.
Done? Okay. So now this is how you can create the variable. Now this is the variable and we need to give possible values. We need to give possible values. So this is, here we can give the possible values. Here you can see payload set, because there is just one variable selected here. Here we have selected one variable. So that's why it's asking one variable. So there are different types which we can use. I will tell you in a minute how we can do this. Even you can create the programming by yourself just using these possible functions, and you can create different kind of combinations. Like I told you, brute force or enforcing the password policy. But first, let's do it with the very simple ones. So we create the simple list, and here we add possible values. We add here possible values. For example, we say A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is one possible password. Or we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or we can say DVWA 1, 2, 3, 4. These are wrong password because we know this is admin user and the password is password. So let's try the right one as well. Password. We try the password. Then we enter another name. For example, ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is that if you have 1,000 of password, you can enter here same like that. If you have 10,000 password, you can enter 10,000 password, no problem. For payload processing, payload encoding, we don't want to add anything, for example. And in the options, also I will tell you how to change these things. But at the moment, I don't want to create anything. I don't want to create anything. Or even I would suggest delete all these grep match. Delete all these grep match. Okay, I will tell you in a minute how to do it, or how we'll use it, but at the moment, just delete it. So now you have set up all the things correctly in your attack, and now go and start the attack. Click start attack. Okay, because it's just one attack, one variable, so we select sniper. Let's first select sniper here. Select sniper, and everything remains same, and click start attack. It will say okay. And now you see it has tried all the possible combinations, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, password, A, B, C, D, E, and you can see that nothing has changed. Okay. Now this is one approach which you can use to launch the attack.
Doctor,
yes.
sorry, can you go back to option? What is the change you made it?
I said just delete this grep match option. This all grep match option, delete it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you have launched the attack, you will see these results. So you can see the response here. If you can see the response. So you can see here, we know when we successfully launch the attack, so we can see this message. Welcome to the password protected area, admin. You see, when we enter the correct password, you can see in the response that this is successfully logged in, right? But if you observe other combinations, if you see it was the wrong password, A, B, C, D, F, G. So we see what was the response. So you can see username and password incorrect, right? If you see this, you can see username and password incorrect. Username, password incorrect, right? And password here, welcome to admin password. This is, you can see now we all know because this password is correct. So that's why we had gone into the response and we find it out that it was successful. Up to here, clear, students? You understand here?
Yes, doctor, clear. Thank you.
Okay. Now one situation is, because you see after even the correct password, has kept trying the wrong password again. And you can see here username, password incorrect. And there is no change here. There is no change here, right? There is no change here. So how would we know that which password was correct? You understand? If there are millions of passwords or thousands of passwords, and we give this list here, and nothing comes up, everything is same, how would we know that there is a password correct? Understand or not?
Yes, doctor.
So this is now one thing, that how would we know that which of our possible combination was correct? So what we can do, we can see when the password is correct, what is the behavior of the website? What is the behavior of the website? It gives us this message: welcome to the password protected area admin. So it means when we correctly enter the password, so we can try something unique which comes in the response, and there is no same thing coming in the wrong one. So for example, I say protected, the word protected or password protected. Password protected area, these three words are unique when the password is successful. I copy these passwords, this combination, password protected area. And what I do, I go to grep match here. I go to grep match here and I say the same what I get. I add it here and I say flag results item with the responses matches these expression. So it means if Students, can you
Yes,
hear? Sorry, it was disconnected. Where was I? Till what option you have seen? Have you seen this result that password protected area was checked after the result?
no, we are just add the phrase or the sentence for grip match.
Okay. Yeah. So what we do when you launch the attack and you know that a possible response can be this. So we have added that into the grep match that if you find this word password protected area, so flag us. So we click this flag result item and we say simple string. We can enter the regular expression as well, but we say simple string. We can even enforce case sensitive, but let's keep simplest and we select attack. We launch the attack. It says it is a free version, so we say okay. And now you see when the password attempt was successful, in the response it came welcome to password protected area. So this is here. This is checked, which shows that this was the correct password. So from this way, we can find it out which of the password is correct. Up to here, you understood, students, now clear that how we can flag something?
Yes, doctor, clear.
Okay. Now, what happens most of the time, we don't know the correct password. That's why we are here to attack, right? If we know the correct password, then there is no way that we can successfully test that this is a correct password. So what we do, we observe the incorrect behavior. We observe what is the wrong behavior. So when we enter incorrectly, we can see the word incorrect is coming. Word incorrect. This word incorrect is common when there is a error. So I copy this because we don't know the successful password. So that was just to show you the example. But many times we can see observe the behavior of the website with the wrong password, because we can enter wrong password and click login to see the working of the website. So I select incorrect and go there in the grep match. I clear it and I enter this. I enter incorrect and say add it. Please, whenever you see this word incorrect, flag me. Flag me. I can enter regular expression if you want to put some kind of stars or some other combinations. Or I can put case sensitive if you want have higher restriction. But let's keep it simple. And I select the incorrect and now launch the attack again. Now launch the attack again. And you can see now in all the checks, when they have tried the password combination, when the response is coming with incorrect, so they have checked it here. They have checked it here. But with the password, it is not checked. It means the response was different. So this is how we can know that what is the correct password for this username. This is how we guess. This is called guessing the password, right? Up to here, clear, students? Students, are you with me, students?
Yeah, yes, sir. We are with you.
Okay, is it clear now? How we can flag and know which password was correct? Okay, do you want to take break for Maghrib prayer or should we continue? Students?
Okay, doctor, we can take break for break.
Okay, 10 minutes break quickly. After the Maghrib prayer, come back, then we continue from here. Okay, students? So inshallah, we continue from here in 10 minutes. Students ready now? Students ready? Are you back, students?
Yes, doctor.
Okay,
Yes, doctor.
thanks. Okay, good. Okay, let me start then. Let me find out which students are absent because they join and then they go. Okay, Sarah Al-Jari here. Al-Hassan Nadra is here. Al-Fly is here. Mariam Budai is here. Khalil is here. Al-Usman. Okay, Abdulaziz is absent. Al-Usman. And Al-Hamdan.
Yes,
Al-Hamdan.
Abdulaziz is here, Doctor. Abdulaziz Al-Athman, he was here. He's praying maybe.
yes,
Okay.
Doctor, I am here. I am Bayan.
Al-Fazli. Sarah Al-Fazli. Since after joining, I see that it is number 8. You can see the participants are 8. So it means 7 are here, 2 are absent. Anyway, let's start. I will see in the attendance. Okay. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, welcome back. So now this is how you can see that you can, if you know the username and you can successfully launch attack for the password. So this is just one variable you create and you can see you can successfully launch the attack. And even you can flag according to the information you have to show the behavior. So that if there are so many possible combinations, so you can flag to find out which ones have correctly worked. So this is how you can find it out.
Doctor,
Now,
I have a question.
Yes.
Doctor, the check flag, it is manually, I do it by myself?
Yes, this check manually because it is based on your observation. When you first investigate, so as I told you, you enter the wrong password and see the behavior of the application. So you need to find something unique in the wrong behavior so that you can use that to create the flag so that you can know that which website worked correctly. Clear? This is just one step. You write one word and just add in the grep match. That's it. Okay?
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Now, one thing I tell you, for example, there are many password dictionaries available. So you can say download password dictionaries. For many providers are here. Many companies, you can say TrackStation, they have their own password dictionary, which is 15 GB of passwords. So these are the common password, 15 GB. This is, you can see from zip password character. So they have combination of 9 MB. Also, you can find out here, brute force database. So they have their own password. 10 million password, top 10 million. This is here. And also you can find out John the Ripper, which is very famous. So you can see here, John the Ripper software is there, but also password cracker you can download. And there was password list here. Yes, download our free password cracking word list, MD5. They have here. So you can see, you can go and download. There are different password dictionaries available, which you can use and launch the attacks. Okay, so you can see this is, they have English words, 300, 3,100,000 and 60,000 password, 9 MB. So you can see there are different language passwords, also different combinations are available. You can see there are different password lists available, which you can use depending upon your password policy of the website. You can try to download different combinations and launch. So if you have this kind of situation that you want to try some of the password dictionary, which you can download from somewhere, and what you will do, there will be just very small change in your process. There will be small change in here, your positions, in payloads, you will not select this simple list. Rather, you will select runtime file. When you select runtime file, you will go and select the file of the password from here. So you can select the password file, for example, any file which is a text file. It should be text file. Anyway, you can understand now. You will select the file click open, and all the passwords, it will be line by line, one password on one line. So then once you select the file and click the launch the attack, it will launch in the same way as it worked for the previous situation. So this is how you can use the payload when it is a runtime file. Up to here, clear, students? How you can select the dictionary from different websites and launch the attacks? Clear?
Yes, doctor, clear.
Okay. Now I tell you another situation which is most commonly you use. You don't know the username and you don't know the password. So you don't know what usernames are available on the website. So as we did the attack, the challenge in the SQL injection, that we wanted to hack all the username and all the passwords. So similarly here, if we want to see, we don't know what username is. So we want to know all the usernames which are available on the system, or at least what we can know, and all the relevant passwords. So how we launch this attack? If we want to launch all the username and all the passwords. So in that situation, we will create two variables. One, we select the username value because we want to change here the username as well. So I add one variable here, and obviously we will try to different passwords. So I've changed the variable here. Now Sniper, as I told you, it works only for one value. If there are two or more values, we select the cluster bomb. So how cluster bomb work? We provide two lists. So in the cluster bomb attack, we provide two lists. So list 1 and list 2. So we have, for example, A, B, C user, and we have password 1, 2, 3. We have password ABC2, and we have password 1, 2, 3, 4. We have ABC3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we only have password ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4. We have password ABCDEFGHIJ. So in this way, we can see we have different list of usernames and we have different list of passwords. So how cluster bomb work? It takes one username and try with all the passwords. So this username will be tried with this. Then this username will be taken and it will be tried with all this list. Then this username will be taken and it will be tried with all user list. So in this way, cluster bomb, whatever list we try, we provide, that attack tries all the possible combinations between both lists. This is how it works. Clear? Understood the cluster bomb attack, how it works?
Yes, clear.
Okay, so now we have two variables. One is the username, one is the password. We have selected the attack type cluster bomb. Now I go to payloads. Now you will see there are two lists. So first list is first variable, which is the username, or it does not matter which list is which, because we can create this list for username, this list for password, or this list for password, this list for username, because it will combine all of them. So first, let's say we want to create only for usernames. So because this is the first variable, so it will be first variable here, username. So I clear all and I add here one of the possible users which I want to try. So I want to try, for example, admin. I want to try user. I want to try information systems theory, ISS, or what was the other user which was valid? Pablo. What was the user valid user? It was Pablo, I think. Let me log out. Yeah, I think it was Pablo. So one other username is Pablo, I think, and even any other password username, for example, Nasser. So these are the usernames which I want to try. It can be more. We can similarly download the list of the most common usernames. So download list of most common usernames. Or what I tell you, if you can see, you can download the list of usernames again. But I tell you, if you are attacking, for example, Jamia Malik Faisal, if you are attacking Jamia Malik Faisal, for example, or if you are attacking, for example, Google, or you're attacking Microsoft, what you can do, you can go to their website. So you can go to website, for example, KFU website. And what you do, you find out the usernames, the email addresses. You find the email addresses, because most probably the email address, if you remove @kfu.edu.sa, the same word is the password, or same word is the username. For example, if you are sending email to me like Bhutta, if you're sending email to me, Bhutta@kfu.edu.sa. So if you remove this, then it means my username in the system will be this. This is the most common approach which every organization use to create their password usernames. So if you want to know the username of any person, employee, you can go to their website and find out their email addresses. So in this way, you can go to, for example, colleges, College of Information Technology, for example, and you go to here, departments, and you select, for example, our own information systems department, and you can select for here the members. And for all the faculty, for example, if you want to hack my username, it does not mean you should hack my username, but any user, you go there and you can check their username like this. You can check the email address, and if you remove @ part, then usually most of the organization, they use this username. Up to here, clear, students? How can you find out the username of the people?
Yes, clear, doctor.
Okay, so you will find out the usernames and you can put all the possible combinations here. Or even you find Bhutta, so you name my full name, Muhammad Nasir Mumtaz Bhutta. So you can try maybe Nasir Bhutta, you can try MN Bhutta. So these kind of possible also variations you can put for a user. Now the second variable we select, which was the password list. So this is the password list. So again, we can add possible combinations. So we know for admin user, the correct word is password. So I enter the correct ones to demonstrate that how it works when the correct is there. For Pablo, it was a password let me in, which we find it out in the last class. So the Pablo username was password let me in, and then we enter some wrong ones as well, so that we can find it out that how the website works. So ISS 2341, or we can try pass 1234. So I have provided a list. Again, I told you for your experiment, when you practice, you can download some dictionary. It will obviously take time. When you will select millions of passwords, so it will take 1 hour, 2 hours to launch all the possible combinations. So this is here. I'm just telling you how to do it.
Doctor, I have
Yeah.
a question. Should be the list equal? The list.
No. I gave you this example. That's why this is 3 and these are 6.
Yes.
So that's why it can be different. Okay, so I have entered some passwords and some usernames, and also I want to grep match incorrect because I want to know which one are the correct, because it can be millions of passwords or thousands of username and passwords. So once I set all my options, payloads are provided with the list, then I can go and start the attack. I launch the attack, it will tell me it's a demo version. I say okay, and now you can see it's launching the attack. And how can I find out that which of the attacks, which of the username passwords have worked correctly? You can see it's cluster bomb, so it takes one username and try with all the passwords. So it is reverse, all username first list with one password, then all username with other password, all username with other password, all username with other password. So in this way, you can see when it try all of them, it can say finished, completed. So now how can you find out which ones are correct? You can see these are not checked. So this is admin password. So for admin username, the password is correct password. This is word. This has word. You can see Pablo and password is let me in. So only these two. You can see only these two has correctly word because they are not checked incorrect. They are correct. So it means now easily I can find out that for user admin, the password is password. And for user Pablo, the password is let me in. Clear, students? Up to here, clear?
Clear, doctor. Thank you.
Okay, so yes, that's how you can see. There are also more advanced options where you can program. You can create the programmer like iterator, substitution, recursive grep, or brute forcer. But these are out of scope of this because we are just taking the basic lectures, basic class. But inshallah, I will tell you more variations in other situations. Okay, so this is how you can launch the attacks. Again, please don't try on any real website. This is a crime. Okay, so now you can see we have launched the brute force. Okay, so password intercept off. Okay. So this is today we have learned how to launch the attacks on the username and passwords. So this is brute force. When we try all the possible combinations, we can use the dictionaries or we can program it to try all the possible combinations according to the password policy. According to the password policy, we can try to program so that it generates all the possible combinations so that it can launch the attack. So as I told you, some applications, they allow the user to try different username and password. There is no restriction on the number of attempts. In that case, as I have demonstrated you, we can use the intruder to launch as much possible attacks so that until we find the successful password. So these are the most common password in the real world, like password, website name, 1234, Qvetry, ABC123, monkey, let me in. These are the passwords, okay? And usually note, administrator passwords are more weaker because they don't enforce the policy. On the admin passwords, the policy is not enforced. So that's why you can say that this is how you can launch the attack. Okay, students, so usually admin passwords are more weaker. Okay, now, as I told you, as an attacker, you can build your own database of common found username and passwords. But also I have told you that you can download such lists which are available on the internet. And also I have told you that at least usernames, how can you find the usernames from the company websites? Okay. So this is about brute force. So dictionary-based automated password guesses can also be generated by different tools. So I have also demonstrated you that if you download the list of the dictionary, you can do that, or even from the English dictionary. From the English dictionary, you can use that English dictionary. You have to use the advanced features of the Burp to generate more kind of guesses from the dictionary. That is called dictionary attack. So this is about brute force intruder. You can see you have seen through all of them. You have seen different variations, how to successfully launch the password guessing attack. And these are the steps which I have explained you. We practice all of them. So if you need, for example, to understand them, you can later on read this when you are preparing for exam. But if you practice and you remember, you can write your steps, no problem. I don't want you to manually mention all these steps one by one, 1, 2, 3, no. You need to demonstrate me your understanding in the exam. And if you can tell me correctly the logical way to launch the attack, that will be accepted. Okay, students? But as you require that there should be hacking steps, so I have put them here so that you can practice if you want to read and practice. So these are the attacks, okay? Up to here, clear, students?
Yes, doctor, clear.
Okay. Now, another variable is a vulnerable transmission of credentials. It is, as I told you, if the application uses unencrypted HTTP, then even the login credentials can be intercepted and they will be available in the proxy. But I tell you how you will deploy the proxy, but let's first demonstrate it. So for example, you can see I make intercept on and I go and launch the brute force, and correct password. So here the security level is low and I say username password, I enter, and you can see even if it is not HTTPS, still the username admin password, it is available. Easily, if I can apply the proxy, I can read them. This is one possibility if we are using get method. So if I change the security level, to medium, go to DVWS, go to medium, submit, come to brute force, and now make intercept on, and try to send username password. So now if we observe the raw header, we can see even in the medium, you can see it is still using get. In the medium, it is still using get. So in the medium, it is still using get. So you can see username is available, password is available. So this is another combination. If you want to see how the website behave on password security high, so you submit to high, brute force, make intercept on, and submit the username password. You can see now it is using get. Why it's not using post? It is maybe the cache error. This is going from cache. So because it should be using post, let me refresh it.
Doctor, first time we was use the same, I think was impossible. So for
Yes.
that was
Yes, maybe for here it is using a get, and the social user token is going here. So I will tell you how to add the token as well in a minute. So for impossible, you can see it is in the post. But anyway, I want to just show you that if whatever security level is there, they can try just guest and post and different options. If there is no HTTPS, does not matter what security level is. Yes, it is now post, you can see, but still even it is using post, it is not available in the URL, but you can observe here. And if it is not, let me intercept off. If it is low level, for example, DVW security, low or even up to high level, I want to show you one thing. If you make intercept on and send, so if you see here, complete it, you can see even in the URL bar, you can see username and password in the URL bar because it is using get. So username and password is available here in the URL bar, which is the weakest approach. So this is one thing, variable transmissions. So if the application use unencrypted HTTPS, means not using HTTPS, then you can see whether it is using get method or post method, the login credentials are traveling as a simple English data, and you can easily access them. Up to here, clear, students?
yes, doctor, clear.
Okay, now how you will deploy the proxy? Because in this situation, we deploy the proxy Burp Suite because this is our own computer. But you are hacking the password of some other user who is not using your computer, you understand? He may be sitting in USA, he may be sitting in Jamia Malik Faisal, he may be sitting in, for example, in his home. So how you will deploy the proxy to read his password? So to successfully apply the proxy, you need to be on these locations. So you may be on the user local network. Maybe if you are part of university employee and you have control on the university Wi-Fi password server. So on the Wi-Fi server, from where when the user select university Wi-Fi, so all your data is traveling from university Wi-Fi. So in the university Wi-Fi, you can apply the proxy and capture this data. Or if you are within the university IT department, so from the server, you can apply the proxy and see your username password going there. People. University is taking the internet services from other company like STC, like Zen, like Mobile. So it means our data after from university, it goes to the ISP, internet service provider. So if you have access over there, then you can apply your proxy in their network to see our traffic, what is going on. Or on the backbone, on the internet backbone. For example, if you are a country level, you are in army, or you are in the security agency, or you are in a telecom company who provide the backbone. So you can apply your proxy there and see what username passwords are going on. Okay, so you can see if you are positioned correctly and you apply your proxy, then you can easily crack the password if it is HTTP and it's not HTTPS. Up to here, clear, students? Understood the situation?
Yes, doctor, clear.
Okay. Okay. So as I told you, any of these locations, they may be occupied by authorized personnels, but also potentially by external attacker as well. For example, if the attacker hacked your machine and you were the logged in user, so then he can use your credentials to launch the attack successfully, to deploy the proxy. Okay? But even if you, for example, can hire a person who is working in the IT company, some money, he will do it. For example, I am in a IT department and I am in the backbone of the university network. You can say, okay, we will give you pizza. Can you please record this username and password for us? And maybe if I am a pizza lover, I will do it for pizza. If you think I will not accept for pizza, you can offer me money, for example. You can offer me 1,000 real. If you think I can accept 1,000 real, then it's good. If not, depending upon the situation, if it is, for example, for a password for a bank, you can ask me, for example, I will pay you 10,000 real or 100,000 real. Depending on the situation, you can see the people can be hired. Even the authorized people, they can be hired to crack your username and password. So this is another problem which we need to see. That's why it is recommended that the websites, they should not be using HTTP. They should be using HTTPS, because when you use HTTPS, then your data is in your control. You understand, students? So if any website, if it is not using HTTPS, you should not try to provide password in that web company. You should select only very simple password which you use for such websites. Create your very strong password, similar password in your attack for this company. Because otherwise they may be collecting your regular passwords, and if you choose the same password, for example, your Facebook password, you enter on some company which is using just HTTP, so it means they will know your Facebook password as well. So that's why it's recommended that if the company they are using HTTP only, you should not select any secure password over there. Just treat them as very simple, just a requirement. Up to here, clear, students? Understood?
Yes, doctor, clear.
Okay. Now, if you are using HTTPS, you are not using HTTP, you are using HTTPS. It means your username and password will be encrypted. Your username and password will be encrypted. still you can disclose the credentials if you handle them in unsafe manner. For example, if you are using HTTPS and you are using post method, or you are using get method, even you are using HTTPS, then it means still it will be available. Username and passwords will be available. And if it is not encrypted, or for example, you are using the credential, transmitting it as part of query string. Usually post method send the message in the body of the message, but you have created as a programmer the query string, even you're using post method. So then you are handling the credentials in a bad manner. So then credentials, as I shown you, can be found in the browser history, in the server logs, or in the employed proxy. So attackers usually they can try to explore all these possible options. So even if they are using HTTPS, but they are using post method, but they create the programmer for their easiness, they create the query string. So then it means it is unprotected handling of the username and passwords. So in this way, they disclose the username and passwords. Now, let's see what are the other possible options. What are the other possible options which we can hack? It is not just username and password, like from the entry page we can hack, but also there are many other situations. So let's understand this. Let's try to understand other situations. For example, when you log into the server and they say, okay, you log in one time, then your session is created. Your session is created, and you website, they provide you option, remember me, so that you don't have to provide username and password every time you log in. You have seen this behavior on many websites, right, student?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so how you will hack in this situation if the website provides you remember me options? So let's discuss this. So many web applications, they store users' credentials in cookies. In the cookies, they store username and password. So it means when you have authenticated the application, and if the authentication is poorly designed to implement login mechanism, so then they can provide you for your password change and remember me option. Obviously, all websites they provide, most of the websites provide these features. We will see how we can hack these situations. So in this way, attacker can compromise the credentials by employing different techniques to intercept. So for example, this is intercepting the cookies. If the username and password is stored in the cookies, then you can find here. And if they are encrypted, or if they are using the MD5, the hashes. So in the last class, I told you, even if they are obfuscated means encrypted or using the hashes of the password, still you can go and reverse engineer it. You can go and reverse engineer the obfuscation password. So you can copy, you can intercept here, same here, intercept. Even if it is using HTTPS, you can intercept it. You can intercept and take whatever the possible is there. So if, for example, make intercept on. And if you see, you can take, for example, it was encrypted like this. If it was encrypted like this, or if it was hashed, so then you can go copy this hash. Copy this hash if it is in the cookie. So you can copy this hash of the password. And as I have shown you many websites which you can go and crack. So you can say hash cracker website. So you can go, you can see Crack Station. They provide you many different password combinations as we have tried. So you can paste here and you can ask them, please, I'm not a robot, crack this hash. So then they can crack it for you as we did in the previous ones, right? Up to here, students, clear? Up to here, clear? You can select even algorithm which you want.
Yes, clear, doctor.
So this is how, if it is the passwords are stored in the cookies, still if they are using HTTPS and even they are encrypted, you can hack them by reversing the obfuscation process. Okay, so now this is one situation that the passwords are transmitted, but they are encrypted. Now, another situation is password change functionality. So most of the websites, they provide you password change functionality, but the password change functionality, there is a flaw. There is a flaw in the password change functionality. I show you one website, but it is recording. I cannot show you website in the recording because that's a real website. Can I stop the recording for some time? Okay.
Okay, doctor.
Okay, I stop the recording.